Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Thursday live stream. This is episode 24, and it is actually a portfolio review night. So if you have a portfolio, you want to show it off, or you want me to have a look through it and go live and talk about your portfolio, or if you need any help with your portfolio, please let me know. Also, let me know if you can hear me in the chat. That would be really great. Before I go any further, just going to play a quick membership video, so I'll be back in 1 minute. So you want to join my membership?
Contract. Sign it.
By joining, you won't only unlock members only content, you'll also be supporting my channel and the growth of the community. Are you ready to do your part?
I'm doing my part.
For as little as a price of coffee a month.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
You'll be able to access all past live streams and get exclusive members-only content.
Yeah, boy.
That's less than 49p a video.
Shut up and take my money.
So if you're ready, join now and become part of this 3D journey.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
All right, so you saw there, become a member. You can see all the past live streams, the archive live streams, and the tutorials from Monday as well. Also, if you become a tier 3 Patreon member, you'll be able to follow along to the ZBrush tutorial on how to sculpt a Velociraptor using ZBrush as a beginner. And it's basically a video a week, and I think they're on 14 at the moment, and there's quite a few of them to go still. So if you want to catch up, you can just become a Patreon number tier 3 and check that out. I've also got a 30% off sale from June 1st to 30th on all products on Flip Normals. So if you want to grab anything from Flip Normals, that's 30% off. You take it into the basket, 30% off directly, automatically, sorry. And it's only for the next couple of days, actually. I think it's the next 4 days. So if you haven't bought anything yet and you want to try out a tutorial or grab some brushes or some models, it's just 30% off. There's a link to my Flip Normals in the description box below. All right. So this is let me just turn the comments on real quick. There we are. Okay, so this is a portfolio review, and normally what I'll do is I'll go into ZBrush and start to sculpt something inside of ZBrush. I think we're carrying on with a predator type alien that we usually do on these portfolio reviews. So I'm going to go ahead and start sculpting that, and I'll wait for people to add their portfolios to the Discord channel. If you don't have the Discord channel, it's in the link in the description box below. I'm just going to put this ticker tape up quick, and it should explain it a bit more. So if you want me to check out your portfolio, make sure it's an ArtStation portfolio, because they're a lot easier to read. And as an artist, you should have a ArtStation portfolio. It should be the basics that you should have at this point. So yeah, put your stuff in the put your art portfolio in the art portfolio section on my Discord, and I'll check that out every now and then. But let's jump into ZBrush real quick. There we are. So I'm just going to leave that ticker tape up there to play on. Yes, that one 3D artist asked so anyone can post their portfolio. Yeah, you can put your portfolio in. Whoever puts them in, I will just look them over on the side, make sure there's nothing too risque on there, and then I'll pop it onto the live stream, and we can go through it, and you can let me know what you want to be want to be in the industry, or what you're working towards in the industry, and I'll let you know how your portfolio can best be suited for that sort of direction, basically. And I'll just go over a few pieces of artwork that you have in your art pieces. Let's turn on some music in the background. Right. So this is a like I mentioned before, this is a predator type creature that we were starting a while back, and I think I started to sculpt the torso, I believe. then I got kind of pulled away because we had the ArtStation portfolios. So I'm going to try and do some of this before anyone can put their portfolio in. Hope everyone's having a good week, by the way, and getting some good artwork done, and not working too hard, hopefully. All right, I'm just gonna check out. I've got some references on the other side here. I haven't put a pure ref of the references on. I'm gonna leave it off on the side here because it's not too important to have it on screen, and it's just for me to kind of get a gauge of how things look, basically. Now, I'm not going to do the full body of this creature. I think I'm just going to do a torso with some arms, because it's going to be more of a a portrait style design. So at some point I will add some shoulders in there. Right now I'm just blocking in some basic. If you also let me know in the chat if you have put your portfolio in, because I don't have enough screen space to see whether or not you've put them in or not. That one artist, the one 3D artist, asked, how long will you be streaming today? So Thursday's normally about 2 hours, roughly. Yeah, so it's normally about 2 hours for Thursday streams. And for the Monday streams is more like a tutorial, a live stream tutorial. So I will normally do about an hour, because what I've learned from the past when I was trying to learn ZBrush is that anything over an hour with a tutorial, it would just be very, very tiresome to watch, and you probably get bored really quickly. So tutorials I normally try to keep quite short. Says that one 3D artist says, yeah, you can call me 23DA, 2da, 2do, if you make it easier. 2do, tada, yeah, all right. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm really bad with names, so I think anyone that's seen one of my live streams before has probably noticed that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just I'm not dedicated to anything right now. And that's the great thing about sculpting in this very broad way of things. What I'll tend to do is block in these big shapes. I think we're actually going to cut that there, so I'm going to just curve that at the end there, because I don't want to go any further than that. I don't want to focus on anything down here. Essentially, the most important part is this part here. All this down here is just added fluff, really. Now, I'm going to grab the IMMB parts, body parts, and instead of sculpting from start or from scratch the arms, I'm just going to use what the ZBrush has as a IMM brush, because it's all about speed and doing it. If you've never sculpted a hand before from scratch, then you won't realize just how long it can take to make them. So this is just a quick and easy way for me to add geometry, basically. And it's not a cheat. You know, as much as other people might say it's a cheat, it's not really a cheat. Too dar. All right. Let me just check the Discord real quick. Is there anyone yet? No, that's cool. I'll just carry on. So once we've done that, then I'll just come over here to the split, and I'll just split the mask. So now I've split it from the body, and what we can do is just do some lassoing around the fingers, and just pull those out a little bit more. I do apologize if you can hear people in the background. It's some neighbor with kids, I believe. Gotta love your neighbors. But yeah, I normally have the windows closed, but it's so hot, just can't deal with the heat right now. So one second. I think one of my my headphones had just burst. One second. I'm just gonna change them out quick. Bit of technical difficulties there. Sorry about that. Trying to get the noise cancellation on. I think that works. Can't hear the music now. Can anybody else hear me right now? Now we just check the settings quick. Okay, that's working. There we are. Sorry about that. Cool. It says, I'd like to participate. I need to set up a few posts for the review though. Can hear you? Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, take your time. I'm going to be here for a while. So again, if anyone wants me to look at their portfolios or check out their portfolios tonight, that's great. I'll happily do that. Or if you just want to see me sculpt this, then that's even better. But yeah. So I have actually got the hairs for this character. They're just hidden right now because I don't actually need to see them right now. And this sort of predator is not one from the films. It's just a random one we're creating. So it just doesn't look exactly like the predator from the films, which is fine. Yeah, it's kids screaming in the background. Should be in bed by now, shouldn't they? Or going to bed by now. Anyway. Right, just sorted that hair out a little bit. Just getting on my nerves. And yeah, so the arms, just going to dynamesh them. Like I do with most things, I'll just dynamesh them. Because it's the way that I sculpt is to use dynamesh. I'm just going to make sure these fingers aren't too close to each other. Otherwise it will merge it together. Going to give them a bit of shape as well whilst I'm here. Jessica Henkins said you've added yours. Let's just have a look. Okay. Is it the one that says Mians on it? Mian? Mayan? M-I-A-N-N? Let me just check it. Don't have much on here at the moment. Apologize. I made a game and film ready assets before and enjoy the majority of the pipeline. I'm not sure how much I should have on my portfolio, mostly, and if I should be showing more production ready model rather than just concepts. Okay, let's have a look. You don't mind if I use it in this live stream, I hope, and show it to other people. Yeah, just give me a thumbs up if you're okay with me using it. And I'll put on the big screen. Cool. All right. So let's have a look at this one. Just gonna pop me over here. So this is Jessica Hinkins, who is from Peterborough, United Kingdom. And she is a 3D creature and character artist, aspiring 3D character and creature artist, graduated from Bournemouth University. Cool. So what's the about? I take it your portfolio is fairly new, so you don't have much in here, which is absolutely fine. Let's have a look at your about. So I'm just gonna quickly see your skills. You've got look development, 3D modeling, character modeling, creature modeling, texturing, UV mapping, grooming, Blender, Houdini, Mari, Maya, Nuke, Unreal Engine. So you've got all the stuff that someone would be looking for, all the software that someone would be looking for to hire. The most important ones being Houdini, Mari, Maya, Nuke, Unreal, ZBrush. Don't really need Unity that much anymore. A lot of systems are moving over to Unreal Engine because it's free. I mean, I think Unity is free as well, but Unreal has so much more in it, uses for it. Substance Painter, which is also good. So you got Mari and Substance Painter. That's very good. Blender, I'm always a little bit skeptical about Blender because although it is a good tool for a freelancer or someone who hasn't got the funds to buy the software like Maya, it's not technically industry standard right now. It's not saying it won't be in the future, but for now, I would park that and try and focus more on the Maya side in the future. There will probably be a time when Blender becomes more mainstream, but right now it's just not. This music's getting really loud. One second. Just change it. Cool. So let's see what the comments says. Yes, unfortunately, not a lot at the moment. I studied BA Visual Effects and Masters at 3D. Is it MA? It's a Masters, isn't it? MA 3D Computer Animation. I usually just bite the bullet and buy Maya and ZBrush. Yeah, it's a bit of a bullet to bite, to be honest. It's very expensive. I'm not too keen on ZBrush Maxon ZBrush licensing subscription. It's very expensive, and I'm one of the old school who had the perpetual license when it was Pixelogic who created it. So I tend to, when I'm doing ZBrush for live streams or my time lapses or any tutorials I create, I'm still using ZBrush 2022 because that's still very much used in a lot of studios, although they are trying to migrate people over to 2025 at the moment. But 2022 is a very good one to use to practice on. If you can find a perpetual license for that, or an activated license that you can borrow from someone for that, then I would recommend that, because the subscription fee for Maxon is very expensive. Maya is even worse because it's even more expensive, but it's just one of those things that that's probably the most needed program knowledge that you'll need for the industry is Maya. You can kind of skirt around ZBrush until you get into a studio. If you're doing creature stuff or character stuff, you can just work in Maya in the meantime, or in Blender. But Maya is definitely one that you need to know. Portfolio. So let's have a look at the portfolio quick. Oh, you got the indie licensing. Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. I haven't checked the indie license because I just normally goes out on my bank account, and I just don't like looking at it, to be honest. Anyway, let's have a look what you got. So you got 3 pieces here. Now, before I go any further, what it says here, I'm not sure how much I should have on my portfolio mostly, and if I should be showing more production-ready models rather than just concepts. What is it that you want to go into first? Do you want to be in game design, or do you want to be in film design? It's a very difficult question to ask, because I know a lot of people love to do film stuff, but I would say game design is a little easier to get into than film, especially if you don't have a lot of knowledge on the pipelines and stuff for film. But yeah, let me know. But let's just have a look what you've got here. So you've got a dragon, you've got a Indian rhino, and an alien. Okay, let's have a look. 3D sculpt of a dragon created in ZBrush and rendered in Photoshop. Okay. Okay, well, you have got... I do like the layout that you've done. Obviously the final piece, because you're quite new to it still, it's going to take a little bit more time to get to grips the way to render it using Photoshop, or ZBrush to Photoshop, and but that's going to take time. I tell a lot of people this when they try to either mimic the stuff I do or try to get into that whole ZBrush to Photoshop concepting skills. But yeah, I mean, the sculpting as well is going to take time. You've got good skills, you got a good eye, let's say, for the sort of ideas that you want to bring out. It's more of the execution and the attention to detail now that we have to work on. Let me just scroll down to the gray, because I normally like seeing them in gray shades anyway. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot. It's almost as if I see this a lot. It's almost as if people are trying too hard to finish it really quick, the sculpting side of things really quickly, and then they kind of forget to take their time with the finer details and the overall finish. So as you can see here, you got a lot of detail, and you had a lot of fun, I believe, I would say, in these sort of areas around the face and around the back of the head. But then at the bottom here, it's kind of been neglected. You could have added maybe a few more bigger scales or intricate design scales on the bottom here, vary it up a bit. But again, this comes with time, and you can... Have you added these? These are separate separate spikes here, and these look like VDM brushes by the looks of it. Was my first attempt at ZBrush. Okay, so this was your first attempt. That's fine. We all got to start somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I think what happens a lot with people's first attempts, and it happened with me as well. Let me just jump into my one quick, and I'll show you what I mean. Because a lot of people, they look at the sort of things maybe I can do, or the sort of things that other people have done or can do, and they always think that they can just quickly jump into that and it'll be just like that. But what they don't realize is, if I just scroll to the very bottom, I've got quite a lot of crap in here, sorry. So my first attempts were just as bad. So well, not as bad. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying my first attempts were just the same sort of what do you call it? Finish, I guess, or it's difficult. I don't want to insult anyone. I don't want to insult you. Insult the work. Sorry, it's one of those things. But yeah, I kind of had the same. I ran through the same thing with my first beginning sculpt. So if you look at this one, you can kind of see how for this I'm trying to. Well, I use Keyshot for this, but it's the same thing. I tried to run before I could walk with this, so I made a really quick sculpt, and then I chucked it into Keyshot, not taking into effect that the majority, if you spend more time in the actual sculpting phase, the rendering side and the compositing side will be so much easier because you've got so much detail to work with. But something like this, it was very quick and messy, and you can kind of see how rushed it was. And I think a lot of people fall into that first trap when they're first starting because they want to get something that looks really nice in their portfolio. But I would actually recommend not going for a final beautiful render and actually going for something more. Let me just check this quick in my one. I would do more stuff like this, right? So take your time, do a male torso, a female torso, an arm, just speed sculpts so you can get the forms and structures right, like the oval shapes and whatnot right. And just don't worry about the colors or the overall finish, just as long as you get some kind of sculpt created. And you can sort of start to learn how the anatomy looks and how shapes work with anatomy. And then once you're happy with that sort of thing, so you can see here I've done a few heads, but I've kept them to very low, a short time limit. So 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour, 1 hour 10 minutes for this one, and just trying to work inside ZBrush as a sort of sculpting as if it was clay, basically. So I would recommend you do that. Also, I think I've said this countless times. There's two books every artist needs. Oh, let me just make myself bigger quick and I can show you this. And that is this one. This one has 4 courses inside of here, and it will teach you how to sculpt, draw, sculpt, and create anatomy. And that's this one. Go for this one second, and then buy this one as well, Anatomy for Sculptors. This is the key to learning anatomy and muscles on a body. It goes through everything. Oh, I better be careful what I show here, actually. So it goes through quite a lot, and it also breaks down the entire anatomy of a human and the way the muscles are on the human body. I would recommend getting both those books. I should really put like an Amazon wish list or something for artists to go to and buy things that they need for starting this sort of journey. Should really do that. So let's just jump back to yours. So let's have a look at the other ones. Okay, again, comes with time, obviously. But I like I do actually like this one's gray version. Not quite sure about the color version, but again, you probably just use poly paint for this, so it's it is what it is. Poly paint's great if you for quick colors and stuff like that, but it's not ideal for final pieces unless it's a concept you're going to do a concept like this. When you're doing concepts as well, I've noticed this in my work and a lot of other people's work. Try stay away from dark, unless it's supposed to be a dark area. Try stay away from too much dark darkness or dark areas in your concepts. I'll just jump back and I'll show you what I mean, because so unless you're deliberately creating a creature with a dark, like the alien, this is alien, right? So it has to have a dark background for it. But essentially try to stay away from too much black in your renders if you're going to be doing concepts like that. If you scroll down to the bottom of my one down here, you can see that I used to do that a lot in my old versions. Just to try and hide stuff. So you can see here, I got a lot of dark backgrounds in these ones, which didn't really help very much. And the sooner you can jump to something with a background in it, maybe, and less darkness, then, you know, it'll be a lot more beneficial. There's one here as well. And yeah, so try to come away from too much darkness. Also, there's not a lot of specular. I know there's a rhino, and rhinos, is it rhino? Yeah, it's rhino. And rhinos don't really have too much specular on them because they are quite dry creatures. But it also looks like the skin's very much the same in all areas. So the wrinkles could be a little bit more defined, right? You got wrinkles around the eyes, but I can't really tell that they are different to the rest of the body. So it all looks a bit flat. If you look at a rhinoceros or an elephant, their wrinkles in certain areas are very much pulled out or distinguishable. If you added a little bit more wrinkling around the neck area, around here, going this way, and just a couple around the eyes and overall body, I think you'd have a stronger. It's almost like it's the. I don't want to say you got the large details, large shapes, then you have the fine frequency detail, which is the alphas, but you've kind of missed the step of the mid-frequency detail, which is the sculpting stage of the sort of wrinkles that are just the next step from the large wrinkles. So it's difficult to explain. I'll show you actually. So if we jump back into this one. So let's say, right, that we have this character here, this creature, and you can see here we have a large, I've already sculpted in a kind of landmark large wrinkle, right? So if I grab the dam standard now, and I was to say that this was the large wrinkle here, then what I'll do for the mid-frequency details is actually come in and start to break it up in here, and then using a standard brush, I'll add in that mid-frequency detail, which is the mid-range of wrinkles, right? And I don't have to do everywhere. It's just it'll just be in certain areas, key areas. So under here, you can see that there would be wrinkles that would sort of build up around here, right? Underneath here, over this big part, this big landmark piece here. And you can kind of build them up like that. And then, yeah, they're a bit more, they're a bit deeper and a bit more exaggerated than the alpha maps, which are your fine wrinkles, your fine alphas, basically. Just come back in here. And then lastly, we have an alien model of a mantis-inspired alien creature. Okay, so it kind of looks like it kind of looks like in your artwork you go through a few phases where you are really into it, and I can tell where you're really into it. It's the face is where you really put a lot of the detail in, but then the rest of it just sort of goes a little bit too relaxed, and I think you're then at this point in a bit of a rush to get it done, which I also am, you know, I do the same thing. I tend to rush other areas, to specific areas which I don't really enjoy doing too much. But I think it's just a bit more obvious with these ones. If you added the same level of detail that you have here in the face, along the arms or along the top here, or along the stomach area or the chest, then you would have a much more what do you call it? A much more fluid, I guess, complete character. Because right now it looks like this one is still in the concepting stage, blocking in stage. It's not, they're not bad. Everyone's going to go through this, so it's not like you're alone in it. But I would actually put these to one side, pause, and learn anatomy, learn the basics of anatomy. Because even learning the basics of anatomy on a human is going to help you a lot further in your in creatures design and stuff like that, because you can migrate what you've learned from human anatomy onto creature anatomy, and it kind of works the same way as human anatomy most of the time. So the first thing I would do if I was you is learn human anatomy, then at least one quadruped, so one creature with 4 legs. Could be a dog, a pig, anything. And then what do you call it? Try coming back to these characters and incorporating what you've learnt from human anatomy or your anatomy classes into your designs here, because you can always come back to these. It's not like these are one and done and it's all dusted, but it looks like you still need to sort of really focus on what do you call it, getting the basics down first. If you have, I don't know how much more artwork you have, but if you have more artwork and you have some 2D stuff as well, I would put that into a separate part in your portfolio in the art station. So it's sort of like what I've done. If I just jump into my own, you can see at the top here I've got different sort of areas where I've got different stuff in them. So I would also do that for you as well. So put your best things here in the front. So these I'm going to just say these are your 3 best pieces, because these are the only pieces you have for now. I would move the Indian rhino calf over one space and then move the alien where the rhino calf was. So yeah, just switch those 2 over, and then any other works will come in front of these ones. So it's kind of think of it like a conveyor belt. So every time you make a new piece of work, you put the best ones in the front, and then you keep moving it down the line, because when people look at your portfolio and they want to hire you and they use ArtStation, then they haven't got much time. So you want to put your best things at the front. If you have got, because I think you mentioned you have made a game and film ready assets before and enjoy the majority of the pipeline. So if you have any of those game or film ready assets, sort of images of them, and they're actually from film and game, then put them directly in the front, and also make sure that you name where you did it from. So if you come back over to my one real quick, you'll see I've got the Flash, Adam Project, Dark Phoenix, Justice League. I've even got the book covers that I've done, and then I've just got my artwork underneath all this, right? So do this as well. Do this sort of setup. Put your best things at the front, and then after that, just other artworks that you might have. But you got a good start. It's going to be a very long road, which is not great to hear after you just done your masters, but that is what it is. So let's just see if there's any replies to this. She says that would be really helpful. Quite pricey book. So yeah, they are quite pricey. but they are essential. It's definitely the faces for me. I tend to spend more time on and then get a little lazy towards the larger areas such as the body. The best thing you could do about that is, let me just have a look at this one again. Yeah, so the best thing you could do for that is if you find yourself getting lethargic about continuing on your work, break the model up into sections. So you'll have your arms, your torso, and your head, and just do an hour sculpt on each piece. Don't do an hour sculpt on each piece like one after the other. Do an hour sculpt, walk away, do something else, come back, then work on the body for an hour to get it to the same level as the head, and then go away, come back, and do the same thing for the arms. And that way you are kind of refreshing your mind and your eyes and your artistic approach to things. But doing it all at once is crazy. I normally spend 20 minutes to 30 minutes, or roughly 20 to 30 minutes per video, because I record everything that I paint, I sculpt. So my videos, those videos are normally like 20 to 30 minutes long each, and then I'll just stop, take a break, get a cup of coffee, and then come back and do another 20 to 30 minutes sculpting. I hope that's helped. If you have any other questions, just let me know. But thank you for letting me show your portfolio, and good luck. Okay. Just checking my. We got one here from a villa. It's a villa from on my Discord. I'm not sure if it's a villa in real life. I'm just going to check your art station real quick. Make sure there's nothing too risky on there. Nope. Okay. Let me bring this in for. Okay. Yeah. It's. I'm going to call you Hector. Is that okay? Yeah. All right. It says, "Hey Marcus, I added my portfolio. Could you review it? You can call me Hector. By the way, I know I know my YouTube nickname is a bit confusing." Okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. Let's have a look. So this is Hector. He's a character artist, concept artist from the Mexico. 3D artist and 3D concept artist. Yep. Let's have a look at your about real quick. Just see what you've got. Software: 3ds Max, Blender, Keyshot, Maya, Photoshop, Substance Painter, Unreal, and ZBrush. By the way, if you've worked on projects in the past, then it's a good idea to put them on your ArtStation. So when I go through your About Me, I'm looking at your software, your skills, your hiring info, and then there's also a section. If I just jump back to my one real quick, I'll show you quick. So if I go to the About here, you can put if you've worked on film or anything like that, then you can actually add that into here, which is kind of like a library of all the things that you've worked on in the career that you had, and also your work experience in here as well. You can add that in there, so you can see how much of all the work experience I have, and then the software skills and stuff like that. So that's just another little bit of added thing, because like I mentioned before, the people who are trying to hire you are going to look at your things within 5 minutes. They probably jump to your About page, and if you've got a whole long list of projects you've worked on or places you've worked, then they can see it there and then real quick. Okay, let's have a look at your portfolio. So Hector, let me know in the chat, what do you want to do? Or I mean, you are a concept artist and character artist, but are you looking for another job, or are you just looking to see, have a review of your work? Just let me know in the chat. That'd be great. So let's have a look at this. Abomination, character design during a course with Andreas Rios. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. Is this a game-ready asset? Let's have a closer look. Mostly I want to do character 3D art for games. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this isn't one that I would actually hold on to. I mean, let me just have a quick. This one is it's a concept, so it's not game. Okay, it's not game ready. Okay, let's have a look at the other ones real quick. So I'm gonna pause on that because I want to come back to it. But I'm just gonna look at these other ones real quick and see what they're like. A sci-fi character who worked a few months ago. A friend of mine and I worked together on this character. Okay, it's good to have some 2D concepts in there as well. All right, let's have a look at this one. I'm just going to blitz through them real quick. Oh, the last three are game ready. Okay. And just going to look at these real quick. These are concepts I've been working on. All right. That's very Edward Scissorhands. This one kind of reminds me of Edward Scissorhands for some reason. I think it's the clothing. Despair. Okay. Share with all my latest personal projects. Okay. Okay. Next gen Unreal. I like this one. And the next one, Battle Suit. I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna go through it real quick and just see what they're like. And then the last one, it's from an actual art piece. Okay. All right, let's have a look and let's break it down. I like the latest three. Was that made fully outside of what do you call it, character creator or metahuman, or those created using metahuman or character creator, or those sculpted by hand by yourself? And then the reason I wanted to have a look at them all is because I think out of all of them, okay, they all sculpted by hand. Okay, I think we didn't see this one, mock-up robot. Let's see this one. Okay, this is better. I don't know why you have them separate. I think you can put that one into there and make it one piece. I'm not quite sure about this one. I think it's the first image I see, right? So when I open it, I see the beauty image, and it doesn't work very well. And I think it's because it's landscape, and you've also got him on a plinth, and there's a bush or a tree down here, right? Which looks bigger than the character. If he was standing on the same ground level, this guy would be a lot smaller. So his whole scale is kind of shrunken. I think it's also because of the fact that it's landscape and not a portrait. And I think portraits are going to be a lot better for this character with the style. So maybe you could crop it. So you could crop it on either side, so it's more vertical rather than horizontal. Horizontal? Yeah. I do like the way that you have the breakdown in here. I think these are quite nice. This is a nice character sheet. I wouldn't. Oh, this is variations. Oh, okay. So this is the concept side, I guess. Right. First of all, I think there's a little too much darkness on it. There's so much white and there's so much dark. It kind of looks more like a thumbnail sketch than a variations. Yeah. I can see where you're trying to go with it, but I think it gets lost within the darkness a bit too much. And there's you see, with it being so dark and the silhouette's not changing massively, apart from this one and this one, these two are the same silhouette. So there's, unless you're looking at the variations on the face, then you can't really see the variation between these two, the difference between these two. This one's only slightly more different because of the cloak on the other side, but if you were to adjust it to be more exaggerated, so it should actually go more exaggerated as it goes along from left to right. So the left one should be your default character, the next one over add a bit more armor, and the next one over add the cloak on one shoulder maybe, and then the next one over you add a helmet or something different to the clothing to make the silhouette look more varied. Right now it just looks like it's I hate these words, it's copy paste basically. But you know what I mean. I think you know what I mean. If you added a bit more variation in them, between them all, then it would go a lot further. But it's a good start. It's if you're not making art, then you're not working. You're not really interested in doing that sort of thing. So yeah, it's always good to be making art. Basically, doesn't matter if it's bad or good art. So I would actually, because I think the strongest ones you have are the first three. This fourth one is a bit strange to me. It's trying. I don't know what it's trying to tell. I don't know what the message is with this. And again, you got so much space on either side of the character. You need to sort of it needs to be portrait. It needs to be a portrait. It can't be landscape because it's got so much empty space around him, and it just doesn't help really. Because it's also, if you have so much empty space around your character, you miss all the detail that's on the character, because your eyes, when you look at something like that big, it just sort of starts to do that. Your eyes start to spread out over the whole image. Yeah, it's more of like contemporary art, this, I would say, than a character design. I wouldn't put this one in unless you were going to change it dramatically. I would get rid of the head, change the backdrop, because it just looks like a photo on the ground. Yeah, and I mean, if you quickly should look at this, I'm just going to show you one of mine quick. Trying to get the idea what I'm going for, or what I think you should go for. So if you want to to do that sort of thing, so you can see with this kind of character, which is, it's not the same as yours, but it's relatively close. It's a monster. It's in a portrait, so there's not a lot of things going on around the sides of him. So it's focusing your eyes onto the middle, and then as you come down, you can even add a close-up. I've got the made it, and then I've also got a turnaround, but I've kept it portrait-wise, just turned around the model as a character sheet, basically. And that's all you need to do, really. You don't need to just tell too much of a story like you have with yours. I think another good one to probably look at is this one, the alien albino that I created. So you can see I've added some color variations. I mean, the silhouette hasn't changed, but the variation in color has. And then I've also got a turnaround in here, so you can see it from all angles. And don't worry about actually cutting, because you can see here I haven't got the full tail in. So don't worry about that, because it's supposed to show off the model. If it means cutting off your part of your character's tail or wings or whatever, then it just has to, because the general idea is to get a good, strong conceptual piece in there. Yeah, I'll actually, this one's also a good one to look at. So you can see how everything's that you look, when you first look at this, you're immediately attracted to the thing in the middle. That's because there's nothing else around her to distract you, really. In fact, I could have probably squashed or cropped it in a little bit more, so you were really focusing on her in the middle, right? So you could do something like this, and again do a turnaround of it. So you're showing off your character. I haven't really made too much of a story. I think with this one, it was just too much going on. Like, you got the blood, you got the head in his hand, you know, the kneeling. Don't really need all that. You'd probably be better off just having him stoically standing there, looking into the distance with a sad face, cropped nicely, and then having a nice turnaround image or character sheet of him. Or maybe set him on a different background as well, because the background doesn't fit with what he is. I would put him on like a sandy ground or like a jungle background, because it looks very Mayan, if you know what I mean, like Aztec type stuff, with the sort of plated look on him. Or yeah, I mean, that's just one example. I would redo that one and then put that back in. I do like this one. This is a very nice one. Got some nice background pieces in here as well. I'm not quite sure if she's floating or if she's standing on something, but if she was floating, maybe make her foot sort of look more like it's pointed downwards a little bit more, maybe. Got some nice conceptual pieces here as well. Yeah, it's a better sort of story you're telling with that one. This one, I mean, this is cool. I like the way that you've got the character sheet at the top. I would probably put that at next after this one. So put this one at the top. Again, you're going to need to crop it, maybe do something with the background so it's not focusing on the background, it's more focused on the character. So for this one in particular, maybe a darker background would be better. I do like the fact you've got the concept piece in here, or concept art in here as well, and a turnaround, which is really nice actually. You see this, all you need to do, right? You just grab that. Pause it. Is grab a still or grab a shot of that, and then just crop it so that it's portrait, you know? So just cut it out along there, and you got yourself a good render of a conceptual piece. Maybe make sure his feet are touching the floor properly as well. But if you pose your character, so take this posed character here and do what you did here, you'd get a better looking render and pose to your character. This one, I did like this one. I like the character sheet in this one. The modeling, I mean, modeling is gonna, I think did you use Marvelous Designer for these clothings? Because it kind of looks like Marvelous Designer to me. Oh, you did, yes. Yeah, Marvelous Designer, it's a great skill to have, I must say. It is one of the best skills to have is Marvelous Designers, apart from grooming. I mean, if you could do grooming and Marvelous Designer and be a professional at those, then you'll always have a job, I guess. But if done right, it looks good. But if it's, because I know how difficult it is, Marvelous Designer, because it's all about stitching it the right way and then hugging the geometry in a particular way. So if you don't do it right, it kind of looks a bit it looks like the clothing's too big for them, and they're just drowning in it, right? So I can kind of see your attempt at using Marvelous Designer and doing a very good job in making a jacket. I mean, it is difficult to make things in Marvelous Designer, so I do recommend you for that. But I would probably just have him without the jacket on, because I think the vest version works better. Plus, you can see his arms, which is a lot nicer as well. Yeah. I hope that's helped. I would redo this Despair, move this one over to where Despair is. This Calamity can stay. I would get rid of the Abomination unless you're going to redo him, but then you'd also have to redo the sculpting of him, and it could take about a while to do, so I'll maybe just get rid of him. Keep the robot, this robot one here, but the mock-up robot I would get rid of. I'm not a fan of this. Personally, I'm not a fan of the blood sort of splatter on him. It's trying to tell a story, but it doesn't quite work with this character. I would keep this one, but make a beauty render, so you could probably just crop out, like I did with like I said with the other one, crop out this one here, make it a beauty render, scale it up so it's bigger, and add some smoke effect in the background. Maybe that would work quite nice. Yeah, I think that's good. And then these three here can definitely stay. They're very good. I'm not going to say too much about these because they're quite nice. I like this one's hard surface sculpting. Hard surface sculpting is very difficult to do, and I think you're getting there with this armor type stuff. So that's pretty good. Also, hair is very difficult to do. So cool. Right. I hope that's helped. Let me just close that. Let's check the ArtStation real quick. Nope, nothing else. Cool. Let me just check the chat real quick. Oh my god. KD says, I haven't done any modeling in a long time, but I've recently become interested in sculpting, and I'm currently working on my first sculpt. I don't have an ArtStation link for this piece, but I can share an image link instead. You can drop the image if you're still here. Sorry, you can drop the image in the Discord work in progress or the Whips chat, and I can pull that up and have a look at that. Cool. Right. Let me just grab a quick drink. Again, if you want me to check out your portfolio online and show you how best to approach your portfolio, then leave it in the Discord, which is a link below in the Discord, in the art portfolios. Make sure it's a ArtStation account so that I can see it better and it's easier to read in ArtStation. And mostly people will use ArtStation to find artists these days, so it's kind of standard. Okay, so whilst we wait for people to add their portfolios, I'm just going to come back to the sculpting of this character. I'm going to change the music because it is really getting on my nerves. Let's try that one. So just gonna, now I don't normally use the smooth brush a lot, so but I will use it sparingly because I think using the smooth brush is kind of detrimental to your sculpting. A lot of people use smooth brush far too often, and it can, it can ruin the details that you put on your creature if you use it too often. And you might sort of blur it out or get rid of the interesting shapes. So you can see here, I'm very quickly just adding some bulk to them, but every time I sculpt, you can see there's kind of this jaggediness to the character that you're getting. And it's just nice little imperfections like that that sort of help to give a character some character, I guess. Make sure that's tucked in under there. Okay, so sent the link. Let me just check it out quick. Is it okay? 1 second. Is it Yuga? Yuga Can Bulet from Turkey? Is that the one? Okay. You got a dragon here, as I can see from Streamlab. Let me just bring that over. Let's have a quick look at this. Oh, is there a way to slow it down? Okay. Well, I mean, you've got some good skills in shape language. And just move this to the side quick. I want to get a good look at the overall design. I like the way you've split things up. It makes it a lot easier to sculpt when you split the model up, especially if it's something really big like this. Working on smaller parts rather than one big piece is much easier. I think you got good silhouette. Just seeing this corner up here, there's a little silhouette that he's using, or he's got. I think you got a strong silhouette. I'm not quite sure what the base is, but I'm guessing that still hasn't been done yet properly, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. You're still working symmetrically, I can see, which is pretty. I mean, I would work symmetrical until I'm 100% sure I'm happy with how the sculpt is. So that's good. I can see you've worked on the feet quite well, quite a bit actually. I take it you're doing this in stages. And if you are, then you know that's good practice. I do love the overall pose, the sort of hunched shoulders, and then comes down the neck to this sort of gnarly looking face, which is really cool. Yeah, I like that. I haven't got anything bad to say. I mean, I'd love to see the final piece. It's a very good beginning. I would say if you're sculpting with this material though, not a great idea unless you've been sculpting with this material for a long time. I would switch it to something that's a bit more readable. So if you see here, I use this matte cap gray. It's just up here, this matte cap gray, or you can use the basic material. It just gives you a better read on your sculpt, so you can see dark shadowy areas, and it just shows up the depth of your brush much better than the one you had. But that's totally up to you. Let me just check your ArtStation real quick. So we've got a lot of looks like environment stuff. Yeah, some hard surface environment stuff. I take it you want to be a creature artist, which is great. Military radio, environment type stuff. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. If it's too white, then yeah, maybe keep to the to the material you have, but maybe there's a different material out there that you can find that shows a bit more the darker side of things, because otherwise you might not get the depth information that you need when you're sculpting. So yeah, just try and find one with a better depth information with a shadow. So you got what looks like a turret. Okay, and finally a medic submarine. I mean, yeah, these are all fine hard surface things. Just check it all out quick. So you got ZBrush, Maya, Photoshop, Substance Painter, and Unreal. It's good because those are some ideal good starting points to work on those pieces of software. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say much about the character side because you've only shown me the dragon, and I think the dragon's looking really good. Once you've done with that, I will put that to the front if you're wanting to be a character artist. But I would just keep these as they are for now. There's not much to sort of point out because it's not character art, but it keep them in there anyway because it can still show off your texturing skills and your hard surface skills, which is still something that the character artist needs in case you do cyborgs or robots and stuff like that, because the character artists will need to do that. So yeah, I would keep them in there anyway. It says tools I use regularly: ZBrush, Marvelous Designer, Maya, Blender, Substance Painter, Maui. Okay, so yeah, okay, that's cool. Maybe update your portfolio then to reflect that. They are too old. I sent another link. What's my mouse doing? I sent another link for my old sculpt, and it's a character I did 2 years ago. Okay, let's check this out. Another Streamlab. Oh, it's got some nice clothing to it. Proportions look good. Normally, like proportions, people make the head a bit too small, a bit too big or small. The arms a bit too long, but it looks like it's got good proportions to it. Was this ever a final piece? Because I think it'd be good if you could finish this piece to its final conclusion and get some renders of it. What I would do is I would also, if you're not thinking of finishing it like 100% textured, and you're happy with the way it looks now. I see you say I always lost my motivation. Yeah, same here. As soon as I get to something that's like far too big a project, then I just start to lose motivation as well. If you're happy with the way it looks, I would maybe just spend spend a few hours cleaning the hair up, like making the hair look nice, right? Or not nice, but more presentable. And then take the color off and do a gray character sheet render and add that to your portfolio. Doesn't have to have you don't have to have a beauty shot. You could just have it as a gray model because you've already got most of the stuff there. It's a solid sculpt. So just spend a little bit of time on the hair and then make a gray render, turn sheet, character sheet, front, side, back, and 3/4, and then add that to your portfolio because at least that you've got something in there, that is a character. Otherwise you're just going to leave this on the shelf, and it could be something that someone's looking for to hire you or they find interesting. So yeah, add that to your portfolio as soon as you can, really. Okay. Yeah, not much else I can say, but you know, carry on with that dragon. I really want to see what that looks like. If you want, you can chuck it in the Discord channel, and you know, update us regularly on it in the work in progress. So some couple of stills if you want some feedback in there as well. But it's a good strong dragon sculpt. Okay, just checking the art portfolios. No, nobody in here. Okay, so I'm going to just carry on with this sculpt. I'm going to give him some big old shoulders. So if you have a portfolio you want to share with everyone and we can run through it, I will happily take a few more. Before I call it a night. I'll just put the tricep in there. Now, I'm not going to go too crazy with the arms because they're not going to be the focal point of this creature, really. Cool. I'm going to block in these arms quick. Bicep. That comes around in quite a bit, doesn't it? Tricep. Bicep is actually cut down the middle. There's two muscles there. And it just tucks underneath the armpit. I always hate doing the forearms of characters. It's always so difficult to get right. I mean, there's a bone in the elbow there. And it's pretty much just straight down the side here. Oh, let me just change my head to a smaller head. There we are. There we are. If there's anyone else that has a portfolio they want me to check, and leave it in the Discord channel. I'll have a look. If you have any questions as well, yeah, if you have any questions about anything you want to ask me, then go ahead, go straight ahead. Doesn't have to be about sculpting. It could be about, films or games or whatever. Yeah. What is the average speed of a swallow? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a philosopher. I'm not that intelligent. when I meant ask me a question. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm gonna play along. Hold on. Let's ask Jeeves, shall we? Okay, so good old Google's saying that's 50 to 65 kilometers an hour. Yeah. I cheated. Sue me. That one 3D artist says Master Splinter enough to make you choke. Oh, for God's sake. Right. Monty Python reference, couldn't resist. Yeah, I tell you, I'm a fan of Monty Python sketches, but I think a lot of it was like not very good. I think they had like a few of them that were really good, but there was a lot. Apparently, there was a lot in there that they just filmed so much stuff, and a lot of it was just weird stuff. But I think my favorite still is the guy, the restaurant guy. I can't remember his name. The one where where the fat guy goes into the restaurant and eats everything, and then what's his name? Oh, Faulty Towers. What's his name? John Cleese. He just comes up to him for that little chocolate mint and says, you know, it's only wafer thin, and then he gives it to him, and he just blows up after eating everything. He just blows it. Oh, it's just disgusting. Yeah, classic sketch. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and blend things in around here now, because now that we've started to add pieces in here, you need to start making the proportions look that they fit. Collarbone. The neck is a bit too wide here, so I'm just going to pull that in. The head's a bit big, but I think we're going for a bigger head, won't we? And the best thing about this is that you don't have to be precious with your sculpt at this stage. And that's the beauty of this kind of sketchiness this sort of sketchy way that I sculpt, is that I'm not precious about what I have on the model. And I know that I can change it very quickly. Like this is a hell of a shoulder blade. Collarbone we got here. I guess it is alien, so it doesn't really matter. It's very exaggerated. The chest is a bit too wide up. You just pull that in a bit. Did anyone else see the Fantastic Four trailer, by the way? The latest one? And what are your thoughts on the latest Fantastic Four trailer? What do you think? You think it's going to be any good? Nervous but eager. Yeah, I agree. Nervous but eager. I think I'm more nervous for Disney MCU, to be fair, because they haven't been doing very well at the moment, and it's kind of make or break time right now with this whole Marvel thing. I think superhero films are slowly, I don't want to say slowly dying. They're not dying, but they're just becoming less and less relevant. I think in the age of superheroes, it's kind of like the old westerns. You know, if you watch the old western films, if you actually look up how many films there are, there's hundreds of films out there. Western film, cowboys and Indians and stuff like that. And that was because at one point, you know, it was popular to have a cowboy Indian film, and then obviously something else came along and took its place, and then the cowboys and Indian films sort of disappeared. I think that's the kind of way we're going with the whole Marvel films. I don't think we're going to be seeing more of them in the future, even though they say they got more coming out in the future. I don't think there's an appetite for them anymore. It's kind of like Star Wars and Star Trek and all those other ones as well. They need to make something new, you know, something completely new. I think they should. I mean, I know that they're working on the Gremlins 3. I hope still, or they're in talks about making Gremlins 3, and I think that would be really cool if they could make Gremlins 3. In fact, I think horror films in general should just come back. I kind of want the whole R-rated horror films to come back, you know, like Evil Dead and stuff like that. Proper R-rated films, because I grew up in a time where, you know, when there was an R-rated film, it wasn't meant for kids, and you know, you'd have to sneak it on and watch it in secret. But these films they have today, you don't see R-rated films anymore. Okay? Proper R-rated films. I'm talking proper R-rated films like Blade, for instance, or any of the horror films from back in the day. That one 3D artist says, I wouldn't say they are dying. I think they are playing very safe with stories, and the stories are just too cliche, unfortunately. Yeah, I would agree as well. The stories, they're not gripping. You know, it's not like Infinity War where we had Thanos, the big bad, and he, you know, the Avengers actually lost. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning, by the way. The Avengers lost, and you know, you weren't quite sure what was going to happen next. Or you know, you were sure because they were going to avenge. But yeah, I just don't think they got very strong story arcs anymore, or anything like that. It's all very similar. Master Splinter says, what are your thoughts with the potential Spawn? Oh yes, give me some Spawn. Give me some Spawn. I would love to see Spawn in with the technology we have now. Bearing in mind the technology we had back then, and they still managed to pull off a very good looking Spawn, especially the cloak. I'm still amazed by how they made that. I am 100% down for a Spawn film to come out. I think it would be I think that would be the best way to really sort of energize people. But it has to be R-rated, like fully 100% R-rated. I know they wouldn't do that because they want people to see it and they want kids to see it. So they probably put it as like a 15 or whatever. But if they could make like a proper R-rated Spawn film, I'll be so down for that. Yeah, so that one 3D artist says, I just miss creative ideas. Yeah, creative ideas. Like, it's too safe. I think it's too not too safe. It's too what do you call it? Scary, I guess you'd say. Too scary for them to create something new. So they just want to reboot things that are already there. But if you don't make something new, then you never really take a risk, do you? Like there's that film. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called Lights Out. Have you guys seen that? It's a horror film, but the idea of Lights Out, and I'm not sure Lights Out the film wasn't great, but the idea for Lights Out came from a indie director. Let me just check his name. I can't remember people's names. Director David F. Sandberg. He created a short film which was scarier than the actual film he made. So if you look up Lights Out, or if you look up what was it, David F. Sandberg's indie horror film on YouTube, you'll find it. It is really well done, and that was a whole new brand idea. Basically, you can't turn the lights off, otherwise a demonic creature would come. You'll be able to see a demonic creature, and you had to turn the lights on and keep them on. And you know, every time you turn them off, she'd be there, or they'd be there, and then you turn it back on, she'd disappear. I mean, that's just things, and that's just like nightmare fuel stuff. But the mini version of that film that he created, the sort of indie film he created, is even more scary than the film he made later using that same concept. I highly recommend you guys go and check that out. In fact, let me try and find it on YouTube, and I'll put the link in the description box, or I'll put the link in the chat. We got here. Blade 2 had a very innovative vampire design. Yeah, it was totally different to what we've normally seen. That one 3D artist says, I want superhero movie to have the same level of grit and intensity live. The Boys, Batman Arkham games, and American McGee's Alice video game. Yeah, I mean, I think The Boys, Batman, definitely Batman Arkham. If they could make a Batman film with the sort of intensity as the Batman Arkham game, then you're on a winner there. So this. There it is. Jesus, it's so loud. Sorry, guys. Let me just share this link. So, you know, watch that link I'll put in the chat. Go to that video in your spare time. Have a watch of that. That is some nightmare fuel stuff, I must say. But yeah, it's that sort of indie type films that I think are being overlooked, and people are just more Hollywood or the big higher ups are just a little bit too afraid to touch anything sort of new. And I think that's a big shame, because there's some creative guys or creative people out there that can really, you know, make something look cool. Checking the portfolios. No more portfolios still. Okay. Says also that 1-3 says also, as much as I'd like to update my portfolio, I don't believe I can do this right. OT right out, which is unfortunate. I would love to know what you think. Did I check your one? Is there a link that you've put in? I can't remember if I saw your one. Oh god, I need to slow down on my typing. Sorry. Which one was that? Was that? Did you manage to get your portfolio into the Discord channel? Because if you send it in there or set up in there, then I'll be able to check it out. But I don't know if you have already. I can't remember. I speak so much, I just can't remember things. That's not looking too bad. I like that. We add the hair in. I mean, it's not exactly like the Predator from Prey or the Predator from Predator. I'm trying to make it its own thing. In fact, I actually have a brush that I want to use. I'm just going to delete these eyes. And I'm going to add in some new eyes that I have. Let's try these goat eyes real quick. Looks weird. Okay, let's split mask points. And I'm going to sculpt in these eyes a bit. Okay. Well, you know, if you it says I cannot update my portfolio right now. I have not posted my link. I want to update it before sharing. That's fine. Look, if it's not going to be done by the stream, then we can do it next month. Every end of the month, I do a portfolio review. So if you want to keep it until the end of next month and work on it, then that's absolutely fine. I'm not gonna rush you to get your portfolio in. I don't want to put you on the spot or anything like that. So if it means keeping a hold of it until next end of the month, then that's totally fine. In fact, it'd probably be easier because not sure how many more people are actually going to be showing their portfolios tonight, so I might just call it real soon. There we are. Some better eyes in there. Oh, by the way, they're apparently they're going to be redoing Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV series, I believe. I think they've been working on it for the last 4 years, story-wise, like script-wise, and I think they're coming close to rebooting that TV series. I think it's just be great because I'm a massive fan of the Buffy series. It's one of those guilty pleasures I used to watch when I was young. It used to come on TV. If anyone else saw that. Hey man, that 1-3 artist. If you want, there's no rush. Honest to God, you can keep it until next month, and I can review it on next month. Give you some proper time to make it look good. To work on your stuff. Also, if you join the Discord, then you can put your work in progress stuff in there and get some feedback from not just from me, but from other artists that are, on the journey of becoming artists, 3D artists as well. There's always some great feedback from other people. Oh, not that one. I don't know how people do the like these live streams for like 8 to 9 hours. The people who this is this is their full-time job sort of thing. I couldn't do it. I mean, this is difficult for me as it is. Keep getting frogs in my throat when I'm trying to talk and dry mouth and oh, they're better people than me, I tell you. Right. Anyway, it's almost the weekend. Anybody got any good plans this weekend? Grab the clay brush. Hector says, how important do you think is to network for getting a game or movie job? Well, it's a difficult one. Because I can remember when I first started. Oh, bloody hell. One second, guys. Okay. I remember when I first started, I didn't know anybody in the industry. And I took a different approach to it. So instead of sort of, what do you call it? Networking? Yeah, networking. I went down the path of getting my portfolio to look really good. And just constantly sort of bombarding social media with artwork, and then eventually someone sort of found me, and then when I was in the industry or had my start in the industry, then the networking became easier. But yeah, it's difficult to network if you're not really in the know as well. So I wouldn't worry too much about networking at your early stage of your industry journey. I would worry more about getting your portfolio to look really nice. What you can do is go to these networking sessions that they have. They have these events or festivals or like yearly events that they have, studios have. And ask them questions, because they are the industry professionals. They're there to answer questions about what it's like to work in the industry and stuff like that. But I still think the most important thing is to get your portfolio looking good. And also, if you're working on your portfolio, it's good to sort of make it look like it's where you want to work. So if you want to work at Blizzard, let's say, then sculpt things that Blizzard creates, or make your portfolio look like Blizzard's work. That's probably the best way I could say it. No, I didn't actually start with YouTube. I started YouTube about 2 years ago. All like the stuff that you see on my YouTube is about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I think it was during lockdown. I started to actually take my artwork a little bit more seriously, because I mean there was nothing else I could do during that time because it was lockdown. So that's when I really started to focus on my abilities and start to share my abilities with other people. What I did was after I graduated, I took about 4 years before I actually got into the industry properly, which is kind of how things go, unless you're very good at networking or you live in a city where there's studios and stuff like that. Then it's a lot easier to get into studios. But because I lived outside the cities and I was trying to work on my skills, because that's what they always ask for, if you have skills. So I was trying to work on the skills section of it rather than the social section of it. It took me a little longer, but I eventually got my first break, which is good. But yeah, I worked in the part-time work during that period. yeah, that one artist's work. One here from Felix Wickman. My plan was to do a bit. My plan was to do a bit of anything, so you can apply anywhere. Huge mistake. Yeah, it's good to dabble in a lot of things when you're first starting off to try and get an idea of where you want to go, but you should really focus yourself on aspects that you want to do. So if you want to be a character artist, do characters, creatures. If you want to be an environment artist, obviously you do environments and stuff like that. If you want to be a specific specialist, then you work on, you know, hair or grooming, clothing, likenesses, sculpting likenesses and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's more specific. If you it's probably best to be a bit more general when you start off until you become more specific, but don't try to get to that specific spot fairly quickly, because you can't really be a general. You can be a generalist, but you don't really want to be a generalist too long if you want to focus on one aspect of the 3D industry. Yeah. Thank you. That 1 3D artist. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's like, yeah, if your portfolio and skills aren't up to date, then it's a lot more difficult to get your foot in the door. Even if you're very social, it's still very hard to get in the door. You might be able to get in the door, but if you're social, but you won't have the skills, and you probably find yourself out the door fairly quickly if you don't have the skills as well. Yeah, I think once you get into it, don't be someone that sort of goes home straight away or doesn't do social gatherings and stuff, because that's the networking side, right? That's the proper networking side that I've found in the past. Like when I first started, I went to Germany for Good Game Studios, and I met so many people there. And from that job and the networking that I did there by being social and going to these social gatherings, and, you know, I say social gatherings, it's mostly just drinking and stuff, drinking and having fun with these guys or these people. From that, I got the next job, because the person who the person that left about a year before, not a year, about 2 months before, and found a new job in England. And when I left Good Game Studios, I had nowhere to go, but I remembered this one person that used to work at Good Game Studios, and they helped me get a job in the next studio. So it's kind of like a snowball effect. You know, you meet people, and then they can help you later on in life, but you have to have the skills to also you know, be eligible for that role that you're trying to get. But the social part is very important as well. I mean, it's kind of a balancing act. You know, you got to balance the social aspect as well as the hard graft of skills. Felix from Germany, and I applied for Good Game Studios. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Hamburg. I worked there for about 6 months. This is in, I want to say 2015, 2016, I believe. Yeah, it was. If you know Hamburg, then you know Hamburg. It is like the Reeperbahn street is just. It's an experience. You need to go. You have to go, and you have to try it out, basically. But yeah, Good Game Studios had a massive layoff session, and then, you know, because they went bankrupt. But so a lot of us got laid off, and so, you know, I was without a job for a while, a couple of months. But because of that one person that I used to work with at Good Game Studio, she helped me get the next studio job inside of England instead. Yes, Felix, a lot of partying and other stuff. Definitely a lot of the other stuff as well. It says that one 3D artist says the industry is tough right now, filled with cutthroat competition. Yeah, I think it's definitely cutthroat. There's a lot less socializing, I guess, and a lot more hard work right now. So I don't want to say the good times are over, but it's more like the good times are over right now. It's more about how can you keep your job than it is the social aspect, I'd say. Not to say that you shouldn't still be social. It's just that companies are looking, for a way to cut people and cut expenses. So just make sure if you are in the industry right now, don't be one of those statistics. And also try to have a backup plan as well. Like I do this on the side because I don't want to have to worry about revenue not coming in case I am sort of laid off in the future. I want to make sure that I can fall back on something, and so that's why I kind of also created this channel and the tutorials and brushes and stuff, because trying to stay ahead of the game and whatnot. Felix says, can I ask how old you are and when did you start with 3D? Well, yeah, I mean, I am 34 and I started 3D I want to say 12 years ago when I was at university, third year. 2012 is when I graduated. So since 2012, I've been taking 3D serious since 2012. So yeah, how many years is that? Is that 12 years? I can't remember. Yeah, I've been doing it for a while. It's kind of, I wake up and I go to sleep and I see 3D, and then I wake up and I see 3D, and it's just, yeah, it's taken over my life basically. Oh, Comics Legend. Any advice on preventing burnout when first getting a job, especially trying to prove yourself and setting expectations for workload, delivery, etc.? You don't want to set yourself up to fail. Yeah. So when you first start, it's not so bad because you'll always have someone there next to you to help you with the pipeline and any questions you might have about whatever it is you're trying to do. So especially if you're a junior. If you're a senior, then there's more liability on you if you're a senior, because you should know the basics before becoming a senior. But if you're a junior, you're pretty much held by the hand quite a bit when it comes to studio, working in the studio for the first couple of months. And then you'll gradually get the pipeline, you'll get the idea of how things work. And and any advice on preventing burnout? I would say when you're not working at the job, try to do something else. Go to the gym. Exercise is great for relieving stress. Go to social gatherings with the people from work, and you can get to know them a bit better, and you can swap ideas and stuff like that. And just try to step away from 3D when once you have a job in 3D. You'll probably find yourself stepping away from 3D quite a bit. If you're having I think also doing personal projects outside of work will help you to learn more, and you can also use those skills from work in your next project as well. But yeah, burnout is a thing. It happens to everybody, and it's just one of those things that you can't stop Eventually you'll get burnt out. You'll probably have to take a few days to relax, step away from the machines and everything, and basically rewire your brain and relax. Basically, read a book. You know, not a lot of people read books anymore. Whoops. Oh, you guys are just chatting. Never mind. Join one for the character classes. Chill. Should I reach out the recruiters at LinkedIn? I mean, I've heard things about LinkedIn. I'm all right. I think you should, reach out to recruiters on LinkedIn. Do they always reply? Not all the time. They're very busy most of the time. You're probably better off going directly to their website. Like if it's a studio, they'll have a website link, and then you can find the career path there. And if it's got the job listing there, there should be like an email that you can email directly with a CV and stuff like that. LinkedIn is good for linking people in the professions, but it's not always so reliable when it comes to sort of getting the attention of these recruiters, because you gotta think that some of these recruiters are actually being paid by the company to recruit, so they're just trying to get numbers, and they don't really know anything about what it is they're doing. Well, they know what they're doing, but they don't really keep a tabs all the time. So you're probably better off going directly to the website of the company. Especially if it's a third-party recruiter, they're constantly bombarding people with, oh, why don't you come work here? But that listing was probably not there anymore, or it's a false listing or something like that. So you're probably better off going directly to studios, and then make a list of all the studios that you've emailed, and then give it a month. Don't pester them too much, because that's a fast track way of getting blacklisted, and that is a thing in this industry. If you email someone too much, they will blacklist you because you're too eager to work for the company, and then they get annoyed, so they'll put you on a blacklist basically. So yeah, keep it to email them, then leave it a month, then email them again, then leave it 2 months, 3 months, and just casually nudge yourself into their emails, but don't bombard people with too many emails. Away, he says, that one 3D artist says, a way I like explaining it is 3D is a niche market or industry, sorry. Pre-COVID, it was very tight-knit. Then the world shut down, the industry inflated because everyone wanted to make games. Yeah, true. Now everything is going back to how it was. The swelling is going down and the industry is returning to its original state. The result of this is an unbalanced market of supply and demand. That is pretty true. You also find that since lockdown, AI has become a bigger thing, a much bigger thing in the last few years. So companies are starting to incorporate AI. Not fully for 3D stuff just yet, but it will eventually get there. Then you've also got the creative character creator and meta humans, and those two things are also destroying. Well, I'm not saying destroying, but they're not helping the character artist role, because now you can, like you would in a video game, how you would be able to make your own character. You can now do that using MetaHuman and Character Creator to make the base model, and then, use that instead of having an artist do it. I think it's it's still a way. I don't want to say a long way off from being perfect, because I mean, you saw the Dragonheart Veil Guard, or Vanguard, or Veil Guard, and the horned dragon people. I think I mentioned it last time in another stream that I think they use MetaHuman or Character Creator for that, and you can tell because everything around here is very humanoid, but everything past the face is kind of alien-y, sort of dragons and dragon horns and stuff like that. But the thing is, they have to keep this part as human as possible because of the way the rigs work and the skins and the blend shapes work on the face. So if you mess up that, it's not going to work properly. So they have to keep that the way it was in order to animate it quicker using Character Creator or MetaHuman in game. So that's why they look really, really strange, and they do look really, really strange. You'll probably also find that a lot of people are being let go, but a lot of the good artists, the really good artists, are starting up their own indie games, like that indie game that just came out. It just made waves recently. What was it called? Indie game. It was like a turn-based game. If anyone knows that game, maybe let me know. Games 2025. Oh, where is it? 33? What was that called? I only got 33. Expedition 33, that's the one. So that was a smaller production game. So a smaller studio made that, I believe. Don't hold me to it. And then they created a game, because I think a lot of the people from Square Enix went to that studio that created Expedition 33. Like a lot of the what do you call it, old school artists and tech people went to the Expedition 33 studio game and created that, and they made a lot of money out of it, and it looks really good, it works really well, people loved it. I think you're going to find a lot of these indie games which have the old school artists and character artists and tech people that aren't afraid to step away from the norm and create something completely different to what the mainstream sort of gaming industry has. I think you're going to find that they are going to have much better success, and they'll slowly start to build the studios up with better games, and there'll be a new flourish of studios. Cool. I mean, yeah, let me just check the Discord real quick to see if there's any other portfolios. Let's refresh the page real quick. I don't think there's any more portfolios, to be honest. I think that was it. It's not very much. There's only, what was it, 2, 3, maybe? Yeah. All right, well, let's, get into that time. The sun's going down. The sun's getting real low. I'm going to leave this sculpt as it is, and that has been, what was it, June? Yeah, June's portfolio review live stream. I just want to thank everyone for coming out. I'm just going to do a little bit of shilling real quick. Let me just change these banners real quick, turn that off. Oops. Let's have a look. Just turn this music down a bit. Cool. Yeah, so again, like I said before, if you haven't already become a member, become a member, and you'll get all the archived live streams from before. And I think what I'm going to do now that I've got you here, I'm just going to say what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these live streams up for a couple of days rather than take them off and put them straight into membership. I'm going to leave them up for a couple of days so I can see how many people want to actually watch them who haven't had a chance to watch them, because normally what I'll do is straight after this I'll go to bed then I will in the morning put it onto the membership only as a sort of archived live stream. But I think that disturbs the traffic to my channel, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to leave it up. So on Monday I'm going to leave it up until Friday, so for 1 week. Of course it's going to be different for the Thursday ones, because the Thursday ones only going to have 2 to 3 days of live of being up before I put it on membership. But I'll leave them up for a week, or the week that I make them, and then I'll put them into the membership so I can just see how many more people actually want to watch this long form style live streams. So starting tonight I'm going to do that with this live stream, and also then on Monday I'll do that with the dragon tutorial live stream for 1 week, and then see how that goes. Ideally what I'd like to do is keep the live streams for Thursdays up for a week, and then the dragon one goes straight to what do you call it, membership straight after the live stream, like the day after, because that's more of a tutorial style live stream than this is more of a chilled live stream where we can talk. But I think the dragon one or the Monday sessions are more suited to being exclusive for memberships. So I'm going to leave this one up for the end of the week, and I'll put it on Monday. I'll put it onto memberships just to see how it goes. Hopefully it does well. But if you haven't already, become a member. It helps out with the channel. It's growing very big, the memberships, which is great. I always love the support you guys give me, and it also helps this channel. Also, if you have friends that haven't sort of 3D artists that want to sort of be inspired or anything like that, chuck them towards my channel. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. That's the main goal of this channel, and I'm kind of stuck right now at the 67,000 mark, and I'd really love to get to at least 70 by the end of the year, but we'll see. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but we'll see. Yeah, so what's next? If you haven't already, go over to my Flip Normals, grab 30% off sale till the end of June on all the products. You can just put it in the basket at the end. It'll just take 30% off straight away, and that's till the end of June. And finally, the part that I dread the most, because I'm really bad with names, so let's just run through this real quick as possible. I want to thank all my YouTube members. So you can see here we got the new ones. So we have Dylan Dixon, Ember Hand Studios, DEV or Dev Talent, MHN Artist, some person from Japan. Thank you very much, by the way. Can't read the writing, but I thank you very much. It just turned the comments off the beta screen. Emac 3D, Umot Can, Bolukbasi, I'm really bad. Cristiano, Nira, new ones, by the way, EFPV Section Civil, and Kusik Das, my 1 monthers, RB Gaming, Zine VFX, VSWAT, Shira Phoenix, and Ricardo Lavaro. The 2 monthers, Joseph Pankowski, Jace Burgoyne, Dave Newhouse, Mateo Selek, Alternative 35, Ganesh, Joel, Luis Frateus, Maria Carvalho, Ivan Savoyne, Nicholas Anastasio, Tiapong, another Japanese guy, thank you very much, Wesley, and Abishk Paswan. Oh my god. Okay. That was the YouTube members. And then finally, my Patreon members. So in tier 1, we have Alan CE, Alberto R. de la Fleur. That's one hell of a name. Best in Shot, Captain Puffer, Gradual Boredom, Jason, Joseph Bonkowski, King Amp, Chrono, Lloyd David, Lost in Limbo, Maki 903, Rafael Diaz, Thabisio Malapo, Thassa, Tom Euro, and Salvado. And tier 3s, we got Aaron Tobman, Anika, Ganesh, Owen Vandermine, Gabrielle, Geese, Hoofy76, and Rodya, and Tyler Kraus. Right. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you have a great weekend. I will see you all on Monday, where we'll be so much closer to finishing off that dragon tutorial. Not too far off now, and then we can start something completely different. I'm hoping that we can finish that dragon very soon, because I've got some other things I want to teach you. But yeah, have a great weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday. Take care. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in more exclusive content and want to support my work further, then please check out my Patreon page at MLW_creative for more. Also, view past live streams you might have missed in Tier 3 tutorial support, where I will be archiving future streams moving forward. If you are interested in other full-length tutorials, brushes, and models, then check out my online stores for more useful content. I would also like to thank all my subscribers and patrons for supporting me for this long. Again, thanks for watching and stay safe.